Hello, hello. Thank you so much, Deborah, for being with us here today. We'll
Pleasure.
hop into it. So I would love for you to introduce yourself and just chat a little bit about your personal and professional experience.
Sure. My name's Deborah Cooper. Along with my husband, David, we are the co-founders of Ellie's Place. And we've really been on quite a journey. We're both suicide loss survivors after our son, Ellie, took his own life in the summer of 2010. So I'm actually I trained as a registered nurse at U of T and spent my career in nursing in the area of public health nursing. After I had the children, and then I started working in David's family business. So I went from nursing to bookkeeping, and just a natural progression. Professionally, I think I've always, I used to call myself a professional volunteer because throughout my entire adult life, I've always done volunteer work. It's just a value that's important to me, and I feel like I'm able to make a contribution that's very meaningful and gratifying.
You sound like a very, very caring, compassionate person, and again, you give back to the community, whatever it is that you do, whether that's social community or your family, you're there. So that's amazing. When we look at volunteering at Ellie's Place, what continues to motivate you to be there on the forefront, working and volunteering for such an incredible organization that obviously you and your husband founded?
Well, there's two things, I think. The first is we are absolutely determined to make sure the doors of Ellie's Place open. We know how very badly it's needed. We know from speaking to so many people, and we traveled and saw these models in the United States, and we've studied them elsewhere. We just know it's a very, very effective treatment facility, and the whole key of having this transition that goes on so that a young person with a mental illness not only has the ability to have long-term treatment and learn to live with an illness. It's not easy to learn to live with an illness and to learn to develop the skills and the life skills, the coping skills, the how to live in a community, interrelationships, just everything they need. It's all there, but you can't do it in a 6-week program, and you can't be sent home from a residential program and been told to go see your family doctor. That's it. You really need ongoing support. So we know this is going to happen. We know it's important. We couldn't believe when we were studying the models that there was nothing in Canada that compared. It was incredible to us. The reason I'm continuing to be motivated is as I look at the volunteers who have joined us, the board of directors, the committees, when we speak to professionals in the field, no one has said it's not a good idea. Everybody we've met have just been advocates. They've really said they believe in the model, they can see the validity, and they know that it's all based on outcomes that have been studied, and it's so positive. And when we see the talent that has been attracted and how the entire Ellie's Place team has grown, that motivates me to just keep going, because it really is a testimony to what we're doing, the importance, and really the work we're doing. It's going to happen.
That's amazing. And
so that's most of the motivation.
When we look at this conversation around mental health, what is it that you'd like to add to that conversation? I know we touched a little bit on this, but can you elaborate?
So we're not really mental health professionals, but we certainly have what they call lived experience. A few things I'd like to add. I've realized that no one is exempt from the possibility of experiencing mental illness. Not one family is probably spared an experience, either a relative or a dear friend. We've learned that mental illness is something that is very frequent. You know, it's not as rare. I think because we're talking about it more now, and there's ever since Ellie was well, since we knew how ill he was, and even with his suicide, it's been very important to us to speak out, to be very public, to do anything we can do to help fight stigma. We've been very open about his mental illness and our experience. So I'd like to add that voice, that we realize it can affect just you know, every and all families. It's nothing to do with where you come from, your socioeconomic level, the culture you come from. All cultures are affected, and families of all means are affected. So that's one thing we've learned, and we certainly make that very public. Mental illness can be scary. We don't quite know how to talk about it sometimes. Some other diseases and illnesses, it's very scientific, and there's all kinds of answers, and there are all kinds of treatments and protocols. And when it comes to mental illness, it seems a little more vague. It seems as though the treatment often is, and maybe this is with other illness as well, but almost a combination of the arts and science. It's trying and trying over and over again, different medications, different treatments, different modalities. And, you know, it's not easy. It takes a very strong will to really keep fighting, and to know that there is this light at the end of the tunnel, or at least the tunnel gets brighter and brighter. It takes a lot of conviction and strength to keep going down that tunnel toward that light and finding hope. So that's something that we recognize.
When you open up and you share, and someone's listening and struggling, that's another conversation that you spark within them and maybe within somebody else, and that process just continues, right? So sparking conversation, there's so much power to that. When we look at our tagline, where recovery grows, what does that mean to you?
That means that out in that beautiful natural setting, literally recovery will grow. I mean, I'm very literal about that tagline. I just think it captures it. It also says to me, we are a grassroots organization. We started around a kitchen table, and there are many organizations in Ontario that started the very same way, where it's parents who identified the need and spent their lives and devoted themselves to making sure these facilities are created so that our children and our friends' kids will have access to the kind of care they need. So it's, for me, it's visionary, and it's just very descriptive of where people will grow into the life that they want, that they deserve, and that they will enjoy. But recovery is not a simple, fast process. You know, it takes time to learn to live with an illness. You're not going to cure an illness. You're going to learn to live with it, to develop all the skills and strategies you need to really have that productive, full life that everyone deserves.
Exactly. And everyone does deserve that, right? So that's,
yep.
We're going to provide.
Yep. And we all need a little help getting there, right? Doesn't matter what the circumstance is. None of us can do it alone.
Support is huge. Thank you so much, Deborah. It was so lovely chatting with you. You shared so much incredible information. I think your experiences, your lived experiences tie in so nicely together. And your passion for this cause is just amazing. So thank you.
My pleasure. Good luck with the project.